Morning, United Kingdom. Good morning to everybody, and we're going to continue with yesterday's topic, and that is 5 ways to make an income, passive income, that is, from the RAC Rescue Associates program. As well as that, the saying of the week: challenge your, rather, don't on your challenges, or rather don't, what is it? Don't limit your challenges, but challenge all your limits. And it has a different meaning for different people. And if I can find my glasses, I will tell you what that I'm looking for my see everyone a bit more clearly. Right. Okay. So we have waiting be in backstage. We have Mr. Singh on. Can we have Mr. Lakhi Singh on, please? Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Singh. Yourself muted, Lakhi, I think. So.
Morning. Can you hear me okay now?
Morning. Yes, I can hear you now, sir. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excelente. Well, challenge your limits. Don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits, or have no limits on your challenges, and challenge all your limits. Either way, it has a different meaning for different people. Lakhi Singh, we're continuing with that topic today, and we have the overriding matter when we talk about challenges is those people in lockdown, giving them a bit of inspiration to look at using the RAC model, the Rescue Associates program, to start making a passive income. And we're talking about 5 tips to making a passive income. So, Lakhi, how are you challenging yourself and your limits?
It's quite a lot to think about there, all in one go.
Okay,
so
I'll ask you a simple
level,
question.
really.
What's the weather like outside, Lakhi? What's the weather outside there in sunny London?
About 5 or 6 degrees. It's slightly overcast for normal on a winter's morning. So yes, lovely.
So we've got waiting in the backstage as usual. I will introduce our lovely attendee, listener, Trish Patrick, I think. So can we have her on, please? Waiting in the wings is Trish. Trish, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are we this morning?
Great. How are you?
Morning, Trish.
Very well. Morning, Lakhi. How are you?
Great. So what's the weather like there in Scotland, Trish?
Very frosty. Ice on the cars, ice on the pavement.
Frost on the car, frost
we had
pavement.
Yeah.
Minus what?
-6 last week. So I think it's only about
minus. Okay. Do you think the weather's generally much more milder than in previous years, or has it become colder?
This is only my third year home, so it's been more icy, I would say, than it has been. But we had snow in the last couple of days as well. That's now cleared. But yeah, it's been, I think, more icy because we had about a few weeks of complete ice, black ice on the roads, ice on the pavements, really difficult to walk, etc. So I think it's more icy than it's been. But we
and I think if I'm not wrong, Trish, you spent time quite a while out in Dubai. Is that right?
Yeah, I was there for 11 years.
So doesn't the hot weather make people generally feel a lot much more happy or sort of like, you know, lively than does the cold weather? Isn't that a phenomenon?
Yeah.
Pardon?
One year,
It
year,
is.
1 year in Dubai.
Somebody's reception is not.
Reception's not good. Oh.
Very
Right,
poor
I'm not sure.
connection.
Can you hear me now?
I want to dial back again, Trish, because I think. Can you try and redial again? Because or log in again? Sorry, not dial in. Because you're in the. Yeah, I can hear you now. Perfect. Right. So, yeah, you're saying 1 year in Dubai, and what happened?
Tricia's dialing back in again now.
Can't hear you. Gonna dial back. Okay, Lakhi's not there either, I think. Okay, so I will continue talking about the general topic, and we'll wait for Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, to return. So the question is, she's connecting back or logging in, I think, again. Dialing are the days of old. Like, I don't think we dial anymore. We log in, I think. She's logging in. Okay, Lakhi. Tell me then, do you feel generally the weather is much more milder than in previous years in London? Or is it just as cold as it's ever been?
Lakhi's frozen away.
You are frozen. Right. Okay. Can't see you. Can't hear you. So, continue with the topic. So, setting limits. Now, a challenge, I think it's got different dimensions to it. Pardon? Is she back on? Trish, do we have you back? Can you hear us?
Hi, I can hear you. Yeah, how's
excellent? We can hear you. Right. Okay, you were saying we'll continue from where we left off. So you said 1 year in Dubai. What?
Christmas Day was spent having dinner on the beach, and the next day was very overcast and wet. So I felt very at home and a bit homesick, I've got to say, because my family were all having a party that day, and I was in Dubai with grey overspread.
Wow.
And it was
living it up. Wow. I think
so we get a lot of rain in Dubai.
Dubai is a bit like living in Australia, but without the Australian accent, and close enough from the United Kingdom not to have a long, back-breaking journey. I think, isn't that the way how would you describe Dubai?
I love Dubai. I'm a big but it does have its problems as well. But it's great for multicultural living, for the experiences, for beach life, for social life, the opportunities that are there. So yeah, I'm a big fan, and I'm a big fan of what the Sheikh has done over the course of his tenure. It's gone from, when you look at some of the things that have been achieved, when you see the old photos from 1999 and you see current now, they're maybe gone a bit too far in a bit of Vegas, but I'm still a fan. And I've actually booked my flight to just on holiday to see my godson and my friends.
Actually, I think one thing about Dubai is generally it's a very safe city. Is that right? And it is a city. It's not a country, is it? It's really just a big city. It's not even a big city. It's a city.
UAE is the country, and Dubai is one of the 7 Emirates, and it's extremely safe. Extremely safe. I mean, I could probably in the 11 years count out the number of murders that happened, and they were all very, very, very high profile. They were all dealt with very, very quickly. It's not something that you can say here, unfortunately.
Excellent. Well, I can't see you trying to find a beach in Glasgow. I can well understand that bit. Right.
There's actually one in Erskine, which is it's in Renfrewshire, so it's the next sort of county. So there is one. Very cool.
There is one. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, that's good. Good news. Probably not bikini weather then. Probably more a sweater and a hat and a big muffler on.
Who are doing the cold water therapy, who on New Year's Day swam in Loch Lomond, at the bottom of Ben Lomond. Extremely cold. Okay.
Extremely cold. That's what I was about to say. I mean, it's not like bikini weather. It's more a muffler and a hat and a scarf weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, but I mean, look, Scotland overall, if you look at it, is a much healthier part of England to be in. What do you say to that?
Well, it's not in England, it's in Scotland, it's a different country. It's part of the UK, and I hope it remains in the UK, just saying. But there's a lot more outdoors, but we also have a very unhealthy society as well, so it's a mix of both, but there's beautiful parts of the country. It is, if you get weather here, the most beautiful beaches in the world are here, stunning coastline, the west, the North 500 and the East Snooker 5, things like that, absolutely stunning. Loch Lomond, 40 minutes away from me, so we have a lot on our doorstep. It's a very small country.
Excellent, excellent. Right. Talking of Loch Ness monsters, trying to get Lakhi Singh back, I think. Is he here now? Right, okay, Lakhi Singh. Talking of the Loch Ness monster, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, so the question is, challenging your limits. So how can you challenge limits during COVID? Because I think we need to keep the topics somewhat relevant to what's happening at the present time, because then it draws a bit of inspiration, a bit of relevance, and it's probably going to help somebody out there listening to us maybe wake up or get on with something that they've been leaving aside or they've left procrastinated on or whatever. So setting a challenge in COVID, I understand. How would you do that, and how do you join that up with the topic of the week, or today is the second part, being 5 tips to draw a passive income from the RAC model?
Okay, who are you asking?
I'm asking Lakhi Singh. Lakhi Singh, he's the one with the knowledge. He is the fixer.
Okay, so mesmerized by Trish and the thought of going to Fife and probably having a nice holiday that I forgot about actually trying to answer any questions on the show. Okay, I think so about the passive income. So the associate program is a fantastic way for people challenging themselves, I suppose, if they're looking for something different to do and they've got a lot of time in their hands. Because of lockdown, it can be very difficult to go out and go out for interviews. So literally they're frozen in time. So So the associate program that we have is actually an online type solution where people can become an associate with our company, which is one of the companies is called Rescue My Properties, and they can help people with any sort of issue they've got in their business. So whether it's raising finance or bridging or for a property purchase that's commercial or otherwise, or whether it's selling a property, whether they want to buy a property and they want to build a portfolio, or whether they want to set up a business, they need a business plan and somebody to help them to structure it, their company, or whether they've got an existing company and they're thinking, okay, well, I need a digital marketing strategy and a PR strategy to roll out my move from 10 million to 100 million pound company. How do I achieve this? So we are multifaceted in what we can do under Rescue My Properties. It's not just solving your difficult problems, it's also dealing with your scaling up of your businesses as well. So we've just had a client, a very ultra high net client, contact us and saying, you know, I've got 50 properties to sell in Mayfair. Need somebody who's locally on the ground, understands the business, and is proactive. So they found the fixer. Ching Ching.
Excellent. I think Ching Ching is excellent. I think when you mention high net and ultra net, you probably scare a lot of people on the group. So we want to give them a feeling that Lakhisingh is touchable. He's not an untouchable. He's approachable and he is touchy-feely, squidgy. So can that advice of scaling up, restructuring, can that be available to a poor, humble, meek business person like myself, Lakhi? Or is it only for the ultra network?
Now we work across the range from people that are starting off with the zero. They've got 50,000 or 100,000 pounds to invest, and they're looking to now get into property or create a passive income. To people that have got 2 or 3 properties on their portfolio, to people who've got a lot larger. So we're working with at every level, really.
Excellent. That gives us a feeling that you are touchable, you are approachable. Otherwise, I sometimes get intimidating when I'm interviewing you or having the live drive time, that I may go into areas which are above my level and then I'll get lost in translation. Trish,
yes,
please tell me, are you setting any challenges for yourself, and are you challenging those limits that you're setting for yourself?
Yes, actually, in different ways, not just in property, but health, fitness. I'm doing this. I don't know that I should say this live.
No, you can't say it. We'll edit it. You go on.
Yeah. One of the fitness ones that I'm doing is a plank challenge, a 31-day plank challenge. So you increase the time each day. So I have said that it may take me a bit longer, but so far we're on day 12 and I'm on track. So I'm quite pleased with that. So my friends keeping me accountable on that one.
What's it called? The plank challenge?
Yeah. So
plank.
I do plank, yeah.
Planks.
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain to everyone listening and me what a plank challenge is? What does that mean? Is it
you're supporting, it's an exercise where you're basically supporting yourself on your elbows and pushing yourself up, that stretches your full core from your shoulders down to your knees, and it's extremely difficult, but we're getting there. It's
how many have you done now? How many of you? What are you on?
No, it's about time. So it's up to 1.5 minutes, and it goes up to 5 minutes. So it's the compound effect of doing something daily to see that, you know, at the beginning the first one was 20 seconds and I struggled. And then today I did 1 minute 30. So it's just to keep each day.
Wow. You reckon Lakhi could do the plank challenge? Lakhi?
Yeah. I'll send you off. It's 31 days.
What's the most you've done in terms of time?
1 minute 30 so far, because it's from the 1st of January. So it was 20 seconds, started the 20 seconds the 1st of January, and then it goes up to the 31st of January. 5 minutes.
I did 1 minute and 15 seconds the other day.
Well done.
A plank challenge, Lakhi.
It wasn't a challenge. I was just, I think I did about 1 minute 30 actually, because I was trying to challenge myself to do more. So it was around 1:15 to 1:30. But I think I wasn't trying to do it as a challenge. I was just trying to do a minimum a minute. So it's quite good for your core.
Yeah,
but I'm a bit surprised that VJ Sal doesn't know what the plank is.
No
VJ,
idea.
do you actually ever think about exercising at all?
Nah, don't need exercise. Hi, Trish. Next. Plank challenge, number 1.
That's a bar humbug, I say.
Bar humbug,
bar
yes.
humbug.
Too late for the bar humbug. I'm just saying that, whatever.
Are you the bar humbug of exercise?
Yeah, I probably am. Trish.
Yeah, and
what
then
else?
I'm challenging myself to do certain things each month of the year and to reach my overall goals, which is to add to the portfolio as well as to carry out some flips throughout each quarter in the year. So it's analysing what needs to be done throughout the course of what do I want to achieve in the year, and then break it down into quarters, then break it down into months, break it down into weeks, and then what do I need to be doing. I can't do what I need to do if I'm not out doing viewings, if I'm not networking, if I'm not continuing to develop and grow and learn. Which is
are you intending to somewhat make your business more sort of technology friendly, or are you already technology friendly?
No, there's part of those goals are I've broken them down as well into the various areas. So what do I need to do to get deals? What do I need to do in the business? What are the admins that can be delegated out and things? So I've broken it down further. And in business, I want to improve on the systems. There are systems in place that I currently use, but I want to improve in terms of document storage and making it a bit more user friendly for investors. So sorting that out as well at the moment as well. So that's definitely on the cards for this year, is continuing to grow and develop. I think every year anyway, regardless of whether it's new business or whether it's a long-standing business, if you stand still, then you will soon be taken over.
Excellent. So these are all the challenges that you set yourself in the business. Okay, these are excellent. So these are the challenges.
I just heard these are the challenges.
Okay.
I just heard these are the challenges. I didn't hear
that. Right. Okay. So you got lots of little challenges set there, Trish. And obviously I assume the objective is that you become a bit more proactive in the new year and around the limitations that we've got in terms of COVID lockdown. I will repeat it. So lots of little challenges you've set there. You didn't hear the rest of it. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me, Lakhi?
I can hear you loud and clear.
You can. Lakhi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Lakhi's muted, so he's not really with us.
I can hear you loud and clear.
We'll continue to go without him because he's busy.
Trish, can you hear me?
Okay, so you can hear me now.
Trish, can you hear me?
I've thought of a challenge.
Trish can hear me, can't you?
What if I decided to try and keep my eyes
I don't think you can hear me for some reason. I don't know why.
At least 8 hours every day? Do you think that will work?
Right.
It's going to be called the eyelashes challenge. Keep my eyelashes stuck together for a maximum of 8 hours. What do you reckon?
8 hours
Is that
sleep.
going to work?
Don't know that I'll get 8 hours sleep, but never mind. But no. Try sleep hypnosis, it works.
Okay. We've got to shout out Mandy, Burhan, and John Smith. Shout out for everybody. We're having problems with technology. Excellent. Lakhi Singh, is he back? Is he muted? Is he there? Are you here, Lakhi? Or should we don't have?
I'm here. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. You were muted for a while, so I'm not sure. Everything all right?
I usually mute when I'm not speaking, so that's the reason.
Problem is when you are required, then you stay muted, and that's the challenge to get you to be on.
That is my challenge, actually. If I can do that, I think I've done well.
Okay, sir. So Trish got a whole host of little changes, I think she's bringing into the business, which is, if you want to look at it, that is the main challenge, to be able to stay in business, continue doing business whilst the lockdown is on. Tell me another challenge, Lakhi, that you have set yourself.
I think another challenge is to probably be more communicative, because last year I think I wasn't 100%, so I think I probably went a bit low key. So just focused on getting lots of basic things done, but I think feeling a lot better this year. So objective is to communicate more and have a bit more energy and be. I think if you've got that communication in your company, then rather than taking on all the world and its problems on your shoulder, a problem shared is a problem halved, I believe.
Yes. So, again, very wise words from Lakhi Singh, always providing inspiration and solutions. Every time he opens his mouth, something of value comes out. This is what we love about Lakhi Singh, the property and business fixer. Right. So if we got Trish, are you back? Are you able to hear us? You are back. Excellent. Right. So I have decided that I'm going to try and keep both my eyelashes, the top and the bottom, stuck together for at least 8 hours every day. And I'm going to try and improve on that. Be doing around 10 if I can by the end of this month. Do you think I'll be successful?
If you want to be, you will be.
You reckon I will be, though?
I reckon you could do that with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
To really want,
yes, very clever, sir. Yes.
10 hours is a lot of sleep.
10 hours, well, it's not sleep, it's a challenge. So I'm going to set the challenge for myself. Can I stay sleeping for 10 hours? Or will I stay?
Why?
Pardon?
Why do you want to do that?
Because apparently I've read that while the body is in slumber, maximum rejuvenation takes place during that time, as opposed to people thinking it's like a bad thing to sleep too much. Apparently sleeping is important for you, not just for the physical part of resting your brain and your mind, but it actually helps the recovery of your body. That's the time the body is working hard to recover. And I think it's probably it's about the right time that we start thinking about having quality sleep, quality food, quality water. Mm-hmm. Yes, Trish? Has that answered your question? Okay.
I do think.
Now, you think?
Sleep is important.
That's true.
I think too much sleep is not necessarily good. because it could be, and it can be very sedentary. So it has the opposite effect on your health because you're not getting your circulation going. And long-term effect of that is, I suppose, if you're exercising just as hard and you're having a deep sleep, so it depends on the quality of sleep you're getting, not necessarily always the length of sleep.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. I think there are different ways to cut this cake, and the point is, what is too much? Different question to be answered on a different day. So tell me another challenge, sir, that you have set yourself, and by the nature of challenge, isn't that indirectly pushing or testing your limits? Isn't that
one
the
of the
nature?
challenges as it comes, as we're talking about charity membership, I'd like to get at least 1,000 members by middle of this year, people that can make a passive income to, I think, one, they can make an income off our structure and our resources. So I think that's a challenge, and I think getting all the communication, setting up a weekly meeting, a monthly meeting, online, of course, and helping people at the same time. I think that's actually quite an exciting challenge. That's a challenge that I like to set at VJ South, and we can monitor it, I suppose, on a weekly or monthly basis to see how I'm getting on.
That makes sense. That makes sense, sir. I totally agree. Okay, Trish, question with yourself. Are you a bit of a passive business lady, or do you leave? Have you got little eggs planted in different parts of the world making money for you? Are you more of a hands-on businesswoman who likes to see and touch and feel the business that you're doing?
Yes. However, the long-term goal is to build that so that it does then become passive. So it's a mix of both. The benefits of passive, and which is why property is such a big thing that allows you to do that, is that ultimately, if you put the right process in place and the right people in place and the right support in place, then you are able to, from example, from single buy to lets, if you have the right rental agent, the right maintenance team in place, that ultimately gives you passive income. And if you have enough of them, it gives you complete passive income, and your agents are taking care of it. You might get a phone call that it needs this, can you approve that? That's not really, work. And that's ultimately where I want to be in terms of for paying for
any challenge that is useful for the future. Okay, Lakhi Singh, we had a request on from YouTube. NB videos, is it, or NB videos? They're asking, Lakhi Singh and Trish as well, suggest a challenge that is going to be good for their future. A challenge. Is that right? Is that the question? Right. So a challenge that's going to be good for their future. What does that mean? And can you suggest something very broadly or specifically?
It's very broad, and it depends on what areas of their life in terms of balance that they want to work on. So a challenge would probably be to look at, take a life balance wheel and look at it and see what areas do they need to improve, and then work from there. So it might be fitness, it might be spirituality, it might be income, it might be relationships. But starting with, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are they in those areas, and then work from there to find the challenge from that, because that will make them question where they are in life now and where they want to be, and what areas require the most work. They may have a great relationship, but they may have poor financial, or they may have great financial but poor relationship. They may have everything else, but their health isn't great. So it's not for me to decide what their challenge is, but it's for me to challenge them to say, okay, where do you need to improve in life, and take it from there. Good answer. What do you think, Lakhi?
I think VJ Sal's frozen, and he looks a bit confused.
He's maybe fallen asleep. He's maybe going to get
VJ
his
Sal, can you hear us?
Okay, I think it's I think the word itself. Pardon? Pardon?
We thought you'd frozen.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
I think there's a time delay, so when we're speaking, he could only hear us about 2 hours later, I think.
I am frozen. I am back. I'll be back.
That's an old
I
movie.
am back. I am back.
Oh, we've lost him.
I think he's going to come back in. So I think VJ Sal wants me to sort of take over and talk a bit more. So I've missed the last bit because I think it wasn't very clear. So basically you were saying is that people need to challenge themselves, but they've got so many different dimensions. If they may be good at one, there may be others which they need to improve upon because it's all about a balance. Is that what you were saying?
Someone was asking what challenge we could give them to make their life better, but I don't know their life. I don't know. So the challenge would be is for them to look at their life and look at, you know, a life balance wheel and what areas of their life require improvement. You know, what are they happy with or most happy with, and what areas can they do better? Can they do better in business? Can they do better financially? Can they do better in relationships? Can they do better in health, spirituality, all of those things? And if they look at that and decide, they can then make from there decide what their challenge needs to be. Is what the challenge is to make.
I think we should make it tough for them. We should say, look, you need to be 10 out of 10 at all these things. If you're not, then technically you're not challenged. So I think I don't think anybody is 10 out of 10 with any of them. So I think the benchmark's going to be quite high, because I often find that you may do, let's say you got, I think it's called the is it called the life cycle or something, or the circle of life? Is that right?
Yeah.
The circle of life. I think a lot of people may be pushed towards one particular thing. So when they're probably pushing towards one, they tend to neglect another. So if they work hard, and the typical one is that if you're working hard to make money because you've lost your job in this market, I think VJ Sal's back now. I think.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm watching you. I am watching you. I can hear everything you are saying. Right. Okay. Tricia, I've got a question for you. Coming from the same NB videos. They're saying, can you give us a challenge for relationship issues? Well, I don't know. Go on then. Tell us a challenge for relationship issues.
Do the plank.
Or creating relationships.
I'm not.
Do the plank more often. It might help.
Yeah.
I would say trying to stalk as many people as I can in 21. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but you might end up.
I would attempt to stalk lots of people in 21. Pardon?
You may end up in jail by 22.
Well, you're not giving that advice out. Do you say? Yes.
Well,
stalking people.
You may get the Scottish kiss for that.
For
the plank, is that a dance move? Is it?
No.
The plank.
For
yes, Trish.
For relationship advice is
stalking people. No, I mean virtually stalking people, keeping a safe distance, 6 foot away from them with my kissing stick.
No. I'm sure everyone's done a bit of stalking at some point.
No, don't want that.
We can't stalk Donald Trump anymore.
I know. Oh, don't get me started on that one. I'm surprised you
I'm gonna get. Do you reckon so?
Yeah.
Commuter.
Oh, it's distorted again.
We're having some technical issues here. I think
Yeah.
VJ Sal is either lost his marbles or there's a technical problem.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Trish?
Yeah, I can actually hear you perfectly, Lakhi. There's no problem with
Thank you,
that.
because I am after all the property fixer.
Yes, can
Yeah.
you hear me, guys? I think the challenge for me is to try and get connected today. I can't hear anybody.
Trish and I can hear each other fine.
So
Yeah. So he's now muted, Lakhi, and he's muted because I think.
Yes, Donald Trump. Right? Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
We can see you fine, by the way.
No.
We can see all your expressions.
Yeah, it's muted again.
Okay, so let's continue the conversation about Donald Trump, shall we? Because that seems to be the big topic on the BBC.
I mean, I actually spent time in America just before the last election, and when everyone here was saying he would never be elected, I categorically came back and said he will win the election because people hated Hillary more than they hated him. And it beggars belief that what's going on there, and that he just is so narcissistic, his family as well, with the tweets that they are putting out in his place. You know, how a standing president can incite that and think that it's acceptable. I
think there's a. I think we've seen all the old movies with Hoover and all the different presidents and what they get up to. I think there's probably a lot more at play in the background somewhere, and we'll never know.
Yeah.
So I think basically he's the type of guy that I think if you look at his life story and the type of people he hangs out with, he will do pretty much anything really to not be shut up by what's going on in the background. So I think there's something serious happening in the background, but none of it's really coming out. I think there is a little bit of, there probably is, well, this is sort of speculative, but there may actually have been ballot fraud as well. I mean, they may have been, you know, there may be things which Biden is doing which are underhand, but nobody will ever know, because these sort of things only come out under the Freedom of Information Act about 25 years later. So let's just talk in about 25 years from now, when the real information comes out, what's really going on and what happened. Eventually will come out of the woodwork.
But the unfortunate thing is, in the absolute propaganda that exists in the media, in particularly in America, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen here, of course it does, but if you had to spend a week just watching Fox News, and then you had to spend a week watching CNN, you would think you were living in a different country. It's because the perspective that you're given is completely different. One of my friends is from North Carolina. She lived in Dubai. I visited her when King Abdullah of Saudi died, and she had the TV on, and we were sitting chatting, and then the next thing I suddenly became aware of what was happening, and I was like, Iris, what are we listening to? And she's like, yeah, I've been listening to that all day, it's ridiculous. And it was a photograph of a map of the Middle East, and it was saying that civil unrest had broken out across the Middle East following the death of King Abdullah. And there was nothing, including Dubai, and there was absolutely no civil unrest. There was 7 days of mourning, And 3 of her friends actually cancelled flights because they were concerned about the civil unrest that wasn't actually happening. And as we all know, we are all journalists these days because we all have a phone with a camera and a video. So if there was civil unrest, why were they not putting out all of the video evidence of the civil unrest? Why were they just reporting to the American people that there was civil unrest in the Middle East? Scaremongering, and for what reason?
I mean, I'll be very honest. About 1984, I think it was, when they stormed the Golden Temple in India. I would actually disagree with the point that it's bad out there. I'd say it's actually just as bad here, but we don't know about it as easily because it's not apparent to the public here. And I noticed that whatever I was talking to my uncle about on what's really happening out in India, and what was reported by the Telegraph, the Times, and the BBC, were completely different of what's happening on the ground. And I think what happens is there's also a tendency for Reuters or other newswire type organizations to actually control the data to potentially only report certain bits of information. So you know, garbage in, garbage out. So I think a lot of that can also be misconstrued, you know that. So just the one slight use of language can actually all of a sudden be then moved on into a different language in terms of like Chinese whispers. So I would agree, but I'd say that it's just, to be honest, I think it's just as bad here. And the worst thing is that you wouldn't really realize it here either, because we're so tuned into the way it is, and we've got a lot more of a softer press, and the way the media communicates, the BBC, you wouldn't. A lot of things are done in without you really realizing them. They're done behind the scenes, so they're a lot more subtle. But in some ways, that's a lot worse, because when you go to America, at least you know that it's half of it's hype. And it's blown out of proportion, so you don't take it seriously. Whereas here, certain things get thrown in as facts and other things which are non-factual, and you can't really distinguish after a while because everything seems factual. So that's, you know, which one's worse?
Yeah, that's true. But unfortunately, you know, you have half of the population in America believes their half, and the other half believes theirs, and it creates such a division. And that division in race and politics is huge and is very problematic. And I think what he's done is continue to stoke those fires.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I mean, I can't. To be honest, there's lots of whatever the news you got in America at the moment. In reality, is no real bearing on anything real that's going to have any significance to do with anything. So, I mean, Donald Trump's finished his tenure, and he's going to be out in the next 8 days. And I think the only thing they're going to do now is, if they do impeach him, then he can't really stand for president again. So I think that's so there's a lot of politicking going on in the background. So I think that's what I've understood of all the politics from Newsnight last night.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see Donald Trump as the real problem at the moment. I see the supporters that he's stoked up being the real problem, and the gun control issues that we have that there are in or lack of gun control issues really in America. What worries me is that we will see another mass shooting in America on the back of this. And I actually had a conversation with my mother the other day, and I said I wouldn't be surprised if something happened on Biden's, his signing in ceremony on that day. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, America, isn't it? It's a bit like The Simpsons. Anything could happen, couldn't it?
Yeah. So that's, I can't believe that we still are in 2021 and the Americans fight for freedom for the gun control, yet the amount of deaths that occur through gun violence in the US is horrific, more than every other country put together.
Well, the thing is that if there was ever a revolt in,
conversation.
I mean, if there ever was a revolt in the US, what would happen is that because they've got very minimal gun control, the whole populace, if they've got more guns than the military and the army, they could technically take control, because you just have a massive shootout with like one of those the OK Corral or the Good, Bad, and the Ugly type movies, really. So it is the the wild, wild west, actually, as comes to mind. So the movies are actually probably more real than the reality of what happens out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we should probably move on to more
politics.
less challenging topic. So today's topic is about becoming an associate in the company. Do you know? I mean, what would be good to know from you is, I mean, there's minimal you can do now. I presume there's a lockdown in Scotland as well, up to a point.
The good thing is this lockdown is slightly different, although it's a tier 4, so we can't move in and out of our areas and things. But however, because I work in property, I am able to continue my business, and therefore I'm able to go out and do viewings, put offers in. The legal systems remained open where it shut down the last time. Estate agencies have remained open, although there are differences in the viewings. Viewings are tending to be done by viewing agents, only one person in allowed at a time, got to be masked up and anti-bac, and social distance. So there's various different things in place, but the fact that legals remained open mean that it's sort of, whilst it's not business as usual, it's pretty much easy enough. I've been doing viewings all of this week and put some offers in.
Okay, so it is business as usual up to a point. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that individuals could necessarily go out if they were involved in property. I just thought the agents could. But I mean, it's not very clear in lots of rules, actually. So, but I mean, I've noticed. Well, I'm actually a registered estate agent myself. So I've got 2 letters if I ever actually got stopped by the police to sort of say, why are you traveling? It's one, I've actually got a viewing to go to see a property that I need to do something with, or I'm going to the office because I've got to run my estate agency. I'm also work with a registered charity as well. So both are actually deemed to be allowed to actually travel in England anyway. So I suppose there's slight variances in the rules from Scotland to England. Is that right?
Yeah, I think even from council to council region, Scotland, although Scotland now is tier 4 across the whole of Scotland because of the new mutant virus, but I think there's a couple of the islands are lower. I think they're still tier 2, but pretty much the majority of mainland Scotland is tier 4, which is the most extreme. And they're actually trying to, they're looking at even increasing that. So I see that they're looking at increasing social distancing to 3 meters and limiting movement as well further. How they do that, I don't know.
And I was thinking if there was ever a movie script, we couldn't really have a better script, could we?
It's quite a bizarre time that we live in. But
there's a movie called Contagion. Did you watch that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very, very, I imagine that some of the scenes in what you call it, ICU are pretty similar to that and at the moment. And but for me, it's about attitude. We can give into it, or we can try and live our lives as much as possible and grow and use the time to grow and develop, or we can. I've got friends who are just so over it that they're lying on the sofa watching TV and doing nothing, or you can get up and see, right, well, where is my life right now? Where do I want it to be? How am I going to get there? And take all those steps to get there. So it's about your attitude and your choice as to how to get there.
Just give me 1 second, I'm just moving rooms. So just in terms of the
Well, it looks like I'm here myself. So, not really sure. But I hope you are all challenging yourself with something that you can do to grow this year in any area of your life, not just property. We have lots of opportunities. We live in a country where we have lots of opportunities to grow and develop. We're living in times where people face losing their jobs or may have the fear of losing their jobs. So why not take control and do something to change that? Others may have funds sitting in the bank and think, I'm not getting it. What you could do is put that money to use and get in touch with someone and do a joint venture or angel finance. So there are lots and lots of options for you to be involved in property or be involved in growing your wealth instead of waiting on someone else to do it for you. That's my take on what you should be challenging yourself with this year. Maybe you want a better relationship, or you want a relationship, or you want your finances to improve, or you want your fitness to improve. So you have a lot of time at the moment to be able to do so. So why not stretch yourself and, what was it? Challenge your limit and limit your challenges. No. Limit your challenges and challenge your limits. That's the one. So Lakhi's moving premises, rooms. So I'm not sure that he's going to be back. VJ was obviously having technical difficulties through it. And I've been left here alone, so I'm just talking to a camera. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But what I will say is I do hope that you all have a fabulous day and fabulous week, and that you have your goals written down for the year and are working towards them to get the results that you want in your life. And that might be from losing £5 to losing £50, or it may be from increasing your bank balance. It may be creating passive income. It may be a better relationship. So all of these things can challenge you, and you can challenge them right back and get. So either you choose to remain where you are, or you choose to grow. Choice really is yours, because we can't control a pandemic. we'll leave that to the scientists, but you can control your attitude towards it. So on that note, have a lovely day.